Walker.
We begin with our media partners from Voice of OC for an update on what's happening this week in Orange County government and politics.
And here to talk about the issues in the news right now, we welcome the editor-in-chief of Voice of OC, Norberto Santana. Nice to have you with us, Norberto.
Norberto, let's start with Orange County Treasurer Shari Freidenrich. She has reversed her position on key pension votes that she cast as a member of Orange County employees' retirement system. Now, Norberto, as she explains it, she participated in the meeting via cell phone in June. Outside, there was traffic noise and her inability to see a slide presentation. She claims that those two things really led to her casting what she's saying is an incorrect vote.
Right. It's the Orange County's pension system is headed for a big confrontation later in November when this vote will come back again. Shari does find herself in one of the toughest situations for a politician, which is being in the middle of a very contentious debate, and she's doing what most politicians do, waffling all over the place. She says that her votes in June were basically mistakes. Now, we know that a lot of that comes after Republican Party pressure that she got when she voted with a lot of labor representatives who, there's a basic argument now on this retirement board is there's a lot of unfunded liabilities, $5 billion. And the big question is, how much do you make sure that you pay that off in this generation and not kick any debt to the next generation? Republicans have come up with an aggressive repayment plan of that, 15 years. Labor and many of the plan sponsors, like cities that deliver public services, are saying better to do it in about 25 years. If you go to that 15-year repayment plan, you're going to be cutting public services. One mayor, the mayor of Stanton, tells us that if they went to that plan, it might push them into bankruptcy. Shari Freidenrich finds herself in the middle of that vote. When she took those votes back in June, she sided with the cities, the plan sponsors, labor, and went for that 25-year plan. Now, she says in a written letter to the board that she made a mistake. There was too much noise outside the meeting. She couldn't hear it properly. Except when we reviewed the tape of that meeting, I've never seen anything so clear in my life. She basically says, I understand what the proposal is. I've heard the plan sponsors, and I'm going to go with a 25-year repayment plan. Now, having said all of that, in order for her to bring back that vote, she's got to, in a sense, say she was part of the winning side of that vote. She's got to come up with something, and this is apparently the best that she's been able to do. All of this will get kicked forward now to November when it will be a battle royale at that retirement system, and a lot of public services will be at stake.
We'll hear a lot about that in the coming months, I'm sure. Okay, now, Robert Ervais was hired to work in the County Counsel's office back in 2000. In 2004, he also became a military reservist. In a lawsuit that's been filed by Ervais, he claims that as a result of joining the reserves, he has been intentionally passed over for promotions by the county. What's going on?
Exactly. This is one of the reasons why a federal law was passed, because this is a problem that the military has in attracting reservists. Many people who go to the reserve find that their career prospects are diminished. Supervisors are not commenting on this. However, many senior staff will tell us it's a conundrum. What do you do with a staffer who may be gone for several months at a time? Do you promote them into a management slot? Now, Ervais is saying that the deputy, he's a deputy county counsel. The county counsel's office has a system of discriminating against those that do this type of volunteerism. Now, one of the supervisors, Todd Spitzer, for example, has a long history of this kind of volunteerism. He was a reserve police officer, has done all kinds of things on the Central Committee. So he's somebody who's going to be in an interesting situation here in terms of deciding what to do about this lawsuit, whether they settle it or go to court.
All right. If your last name is Kardashian, and pretty much it's not at this table, you can throw a big party and get other people to pay for it, right? Okay, so otherwise, big parties cost a whole bunch of money. Costa Mesa just spent big money on their 60th anniversary party, right? 60. You guys over there at Voice of OC, though, are paying particular attention to one of the party's vendors and their connection to Orange County Chairman Scott Baugh. What is that?
Parties in government, every time that a government agency throws a party, it goes bad. In this case, we know that about $300,000 was spent on this city anniversary party. The questions now, though, are becoming of this company called KB Event Management, which does have connections to the Orange County's GOP chief, Scott Baugh, was involved in this. 20 days, there are activists that have been asking for public records requests. I mean, there are basic things like contracts for this company that are not being put out, receipts. Nobody knows how much money was spent on this. It's turning into a bit of a mess. There's also a lot of commingling here of nonprofit things. The nonprofit OC Marathon Foundation apparently was the one that took out the liquor license for this event, yet at the same time there was a for-profit company making all the money off of it. It's gotten very, very, very messy, and there's 2 employees that were associated with the organization that were put on leave right now while a city investigation goes on. So we'll stay on top of it.
Also in Costa Mesa now, Mayor Jim Righeimer and Councilman Steve Menzinger suing the city police union, the union's former law firm and the firm's former private investigator. Now, Norberto, the way this goes, the harassment suit stems from an incident last year when a private investigator tried to have the mayor arrested for a DUI. What's the latest?
This is one of the ugliest stories that's out there, and it's developing. We know that the district attorney and other law enforcement agencies may be looking at this. The big question is now, Jim Righeimer, mayor of the city, and Councilman Stephen Menzinger have hired the lawyers that went after the Catholic Church. And they are going after this, saying basically that the city's police union knew about these types of harassment tactics that were going after them, that the aim of those harassment tactics were to try to get a better deal, a better labor deal out of the city. And frankly, there's an undertow here, which is this is happening all across our state with lots of police unions that use this law firm. Many police unions have already fired them, but many have stuck by with them. This is one that will get more and more explosive. The interesting thing in this case, though, is like all civil cases, depositions, discovery, all of this stuff I'm sure will be playing out in all of your local newspapers.
All right, very good. Thanks, Norberto. Good to see you.
Thanks, Harry.
All right, for more on these stories and other political news throughout Orange County, you can log on to voiceofoc.org.